Gridiron Grinder! Hut hut hike!
All right, we're rolling. It's Friday night, Gridiron Grinder time. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, is my buddy James. We're just a couple of dudes hanging out talking about what's going on in the NFL each week. This is episode 204 of Gridiron Grinder. And for tonight, we're going to kick things off with Name That Stadium, just like we always do. Then we're going to cover the news from this past week. After that, we're going to give you guys our week 5 power rankings and game picks. Holy shit, I can't believe we're already at week 5. Oh, the time just burns by, James. And then last but not least, we're going to do a little question of the week action, which I still got to come up with. And we're going to do it on the fly. It's no big deal, right? Because just like nobody plays Name That Stadium, nobody ever answers question of the week. It's just for us, basically. But that's okay. So, yeah, with all that being said, how's it going tonight, James?
It's going good. How's it going with you?
Pretty good, man. I got like a weird thing going on at my house here where it's like chilly outside today, but yet my air conditioning keeps turning on. And I'm supposed to have like the smart, Nest thermostat. And I'm like, what are you doing here, guy? Like, it's wigging me out a little bit, but I think I finally got it under control.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Like even when it's kind of cool outside, like I keep my house at 72, and it'll be like in the high 60s outside, and then my AC kicks on. It's like, well, how the fuck is the house hotter than it's outside, and
Yeah.
how is it heating up at like 3 o'clock in the fucking morning?
Yeah, it's weird. And it's like the opposite problem of what we were having a couple weeks ago, where it was like blistering heat and it was like the air couldn't keep up. Now it's like, hey, I don't need you to be on at all. Like you just turn off.
Yeah, motherfucker, just turn off.
Yeah, it's just it's got a mind of its own. It's got a mind of its own. But enough of that. Whenever you're ready, my man, do some Name That Stadium for us.
All right. Then, as you can see, I'm going around different stadiums that host NFL games, not necessarily in the United States. Hint. Um, First person guesses right, give you that extra special shout out that we all know you want. Um, Nobody's played in a long time, like you said, so I don't know what the fuck I could do besides tell them where I am and hope they guess Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But
I was gonna say just turn your head a little bit. There's like another hint behind you, but you don't even have to turn your head. I think you could just see it. So, uh,
So I it should be obvious. There is a game there this weekend at I don't know 9:30 in the morning Eastern time.
oh, hints
Uh,
left and right.
Still nobody will guess. Last week, we had the Monday night game in Detroit with the Seahawks, and obviously I was going to the Monday night game, and that's where I went. I mean, it should have been obvious to anybody that's paid attention at all to the show. I try to tie Ford Field in every time I can.
Yeah, and that was a big game, right? And I'm trying to represent a little bit here tonight, James. Because I felt good about that win. I was a little bit. I would say my commitment had wavered after the Tampa Bay loss,
Hmm.
but it was nice to see. And I know that the defense had some issues with like Kenneth Walker a little bit and whatnot, but even DK Metcalf had like some kind of
Fucking
like nice little
Terrion
plays. But
Arnold had like fucking 8 penalties in that game.
well, he's getting whatever they call it, baptism by fire, right? So
Yeah.
he's they're basically just saying, look, man, you're the best we got at our number 2 spot, and we know you're a rookie, but you're just gonna have to learn how to grow, my man. And so,
Yeah.
all right,
So
we're hoping he'll be like fucking Daryl Revis next year, is what we're hoping.
yeah. But speaking of that game, annoying on the annoying side of it is I don't know how the fuck you get a perfect quarterback rating in the fucking NFL. Fucking Jared Goff was perfect, no incompletions, no interceptions, and 2 touchdowns.
He didn't have the 158.3.
He had 153.5.
What? So I know that part of the calculation. It's been so long since I learned how they did this, but I know part of the calculation is based on like yards per attempt,
Well,
and then I think another one is I don't know. I don't know actually what else would bring it down. And I don't even know what his yards were per attempt were. They were probably pretty good.
So I had looked it up, and like the Lions as a team, I think had a perfect passer rating. Jared Goff individually did not.
What do you mean by that?
So,
Wasn't he 18 for 18 or something?
right, but for the passer rating, so if,
Oh, for the yeah, I got you.
and it's weird as fuck because the team as a whole, because he had the Amon-Ra St. Brown one pass to Jared Goff.
Yeah, so yards per attempt is a part of it. Touchdowns per
Touchdowns
attempt
per
is a part
attempt.
of it.
So as a team, 19 for 19, 273 yards, three touchdowns would have been 158.33, or the
That's
158,
perfect. Yeah.
which is perfect. But Jared Goff had, oh, I guess it was 155.8.
Still, so his yards per attempt must have been like a hair lower than whatever the perfect number is in the calculation.
Yeah, so the teams, no, because yards per attempt for the team was 15.7. Jared Goff was 16.2. It was
Wow,
touchdowns
16.2 would be high. I don't get that. Touchdowns per attempt
touchdowns per attempt
was lagging. Come on.
was lagging. And
Okay. Okay.
I don't I didn't understand it at all. So, yeah, cuz he had 18 passes or 18 attempts or 18 completions on 18 passes and 292 yards. He had two touchdowns
I
and
mean, dude, if you can get a
so
touchdown for every 10 passes, that's fucking solid.
it is fucking solid. So his touchdown percentage was just a hair under what was needed. Everything else was
Yeah, so you
was the
gotta throw a
perfect
touchdown
score.
one every 8 passes.
Uh, One touchdown percentage has to be. I'm doing fucking calculus here now, but um, so
I
touchdown
mean, if he had
percentage,
1 for 9, it's got to be 1 for 8, right?
it's not even quite 1 for 8.
Yeah, so it
Like
could be like, yeah, if like he had a third touchdown, you don't need, you know, it could be 26 or something.
yeah, so if he would have had one more touchdown, it would have been perfect. Or if I think it was if he had one less attempt.
Okay.
No, he would have had two less attempts.
All right. So yeah, 1 for 8 is what they're looking for.
Yeah, one for it because touchdown percentage would have had to been 12.5%, which divided by
Yeah,
16.
that's 8.
Yeah, one for 8.
We could do the math, or we can get a calculator. That's fine.
Yeah, so it's just annoying, but like the comment, I think it was Buck said he's like, I don't know how that can be not be a perfect passer rating.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like if he would have,
Yeah, Andy caught a fucking touchdown, but that's not part of passing. I get it.
yeah, that's not part of passing, but what's fucked up is, uh, I did that backwards. What I think is kind of fucked up about it is if he would have had like gone 19 for 20 I think it would have been a perfect rating too, or close to a perfect rating.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucking annoying as hell. Or no, if it had to been the other way. If he had 16 attempts and 15, I think yeah. If he went 15 for 16 with 292 yards and 2 touchdowns, he would have had a perfect rating.
Yeah, so he could have had an incompletion, but if it was less attempts, it would have it would have shifted the calculation. I got you.
He could have had 2 incompletions, or he could have had 3 incompletions.
Yeah, that's weird.
He could have had, I think it went to 5 incompletions if he only had
What?
16.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but if he had 5 incompletions, then he would have had like fucking, 20 something yards per attempt or per completion. But I guess per completion's not, it's just
No, it
per
was 3.
attempt.
He
Okay.
could have had up to 3 incompletions if he would have only thrown the ball 16 times,
Gotcha.
or if he had one more. It's just
It's
my whole
wacky.
point is fucking passer rating is weird as shit, and I don't fucking understand how
Yeah,
you can
it's just
have
one data point, dude.
basically a perfect game and not have a perfect passer rating.
Yeah. Yeah, and I heard Dan Campbell didn't give him the game ball.
Yeah. Well, Dan Campbell, to be fair, didn't
He
realize
regretted it.
didn't realize it was the
Yeah.
perfect game and gave it to somebody else, and then he was asked
Yeah.
about it, and he's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
no.
We're gonna cut that ball in half, and yeah, no, that's. I mean, hey, what do you do? Like I'm sure, I'm sure Dan Campbell's trying to spread the love to motivate everybody, right? And so sometimes you kind of take your eye off of like the stars like that, right? So
Yeah. Well, I mean, plus, when was the last time like a quarterback didn't throw an incompletion in the game?
oh fuck, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, I remember one year Philip Rivers was close, but I'm pretty sure he had a couple that he missed. I thought he was like one year he was like 21 to 24 or something, and it was like, whoa, like that was a lot.
Last time QB, because he would. Oh no, because they said he would have set the record for percentage, but he didn't have enough attempts because
Okay.
the minimum is 20.
Uh, what the
Okay,
fuck? Brandon Whedon had a game with 100% completions?
really?
No, that can't be right.
Three players have gone
No,
seven
because I'm
for
looking at
seven.
Pro Football Focus. Single percentage game leaders: Jared Goff 100, Drew Brees 96.7, Philip Rivers 96.6, Mariota 95.7, Brock Purdy 95.2. Come on, like what is going on here? Why is this? This is a Reddit thing about Brandon Whedon. Like, don't Reddit? I don't know. I like Reddit for some stuff, but come on.
Okay, so the
Okay, seven
most
for seven. Seven
10
for
for 10.
seven.
How about 10 for 10? Kurt Warner
Kurt
in
Warner 10 for
2005.
10. Yep.
So only
Oh, Peyton
10 other
Manning had
QBs.
one where he went 7 of 7. Mark Bulger 7 of 7. Eddie LeBaron, I don't even know who he is. 7 for 7, 1962. No one has ever been 8 or better with a 158.3 passer rating.
Well, yeah,
And this
because
is an old thread. This is an old thread.
yeah,
So,
but that's also because of the fact that the passer rating is fucking jacked up.
yeah.
For 8 for 8, you have to throw 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
Jeez, that's funny. All right. Let's move on to the news, my man. So, like I was telling you before the show, I had a man's weekend with my son. And so I didn't get to watch a ton of football, which was okay because we had some good quality time. We went and saw Transformers and we went to Bad Brad's, had like some barbecue. It was a good time. But because of that, I'm a little behind on the news. And so I'm just going to defer to you to kind of lead us through this segment, my man.
All right. So the biggest news of the week is, well, actually, do you want to go in? Let's, oh gosh, which way to go with it? Because you
I
had
mean, just start with Devontae Adams being a
Devontae
fucking
Adams.
bitch and not living up to his commitment again. And.
All right. So
I don't want to say it like that. I just don't like it when a guy, he got traded out of Green Bay because he wanted to be
to
with,
play with Derek
yeah,
Carr,
and not,
and then the Raiders traded Derek Carr.
yeah, and
And
now he
if you
wants to be
watch
traded
the
out,
show
and it's
on
like,
Max or whatever, or Paramount Plus or whatever the fuck it's on, receiver, you know how they did quarterback, they did
yeah,
receiver. Every time they showed him during a game on that show, you could tell he was not fucking happy.
yeah.
Like, is Aiden O'Connell going to be able to get him the ball? Is Gardner Minshew getting him the ball? No. I can't be fucking surprised that he
No,
wants
they
to
had
trade. I'm
I don't know,
surprised.
like week 2 or whatever, he had a really good week, but yeah, I mean, it's not going to be every week for him.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they went into the season with him on the team. I was certain in the offseason, I was certain when they got rid of Derek Carr and then they got
Yeah.
rid of Jimmy G that they
I
were
know,
gonna
but
they were
James,
gonna
I'm
trade him.
not looking at it as like a team building strategy. I'm looking at it as hey, the team decided to keep you because they believe they need you to win games, and you are under contract. Once again, just like you were in Green Bay, live up to your commitment. We talk about it all the time with these guys
But
bitching and moaning, and
he's not. It's not that he's not living up to his commitment. He's told the team that he would like to be
yeah,
traded.
and now he's going to sit this weekend while they explore trade options
But that's a team decision
because he wants out.
because he wants to trade. The team would be stupid as fuck to play him this week, and then he gets hurt, and then they can't trade him, and then they're on the hook for all his
I'm
cash.
just saying, if the team thinks, hey, we can get to the playoffs this year, we need this guy. Sorry, we're not trading you. No, he says, I want to get out, and the team says, fine, we're gonna fucking cave.
But
To me,
that's on
to
the
me
team.
it's to me it's like what you're saying, James. It's that if the team was that flimsy about whether or not they really needed him or wanted him this year, they should have done it in the offseason.
Hmm.
The fact that you're going into week 5 and now you're pivoting, that to me is, hey man, you're like not even like you don't even have conviction to what you've got in your team. Like it's
Yeah,
just not.
but the fact of the matter is I think that if Devontae Adams went to the team and said he wanted a trade, and the team said we're not going to trade you, do you
You
think
think he would
Devontae
have just been
Adams
like, okay,
he'd been like, I want to trade, I understand your position, and play ball.
if you think that that's the case, then I would back off of it and be like, totally cool, totally cool, you know. But if he's playing the crybaby card like so many wide receivers in particular do, then I just and that's why, James, it's a fucking stereotype, right? It's like
Hmm.
so many wide receivers go fucking prima donna and like why wah get me out of here, like it just I don't know. I would hope Devonte Adams has more class than that. And um, and if that's truly the case, then I'm on board with the team basically pivoting and saying, hey, we're going into week 5, and you know what? We realized it's just not going to be the year. So let's trade him for an asset that we can build for the future. I'm fine with that, man. I'm fine with that. It just
They still would have been better off to trade him in the offseason because they
for
would have
sure.
gotten more for him in the offseason.
Yeah.
Now you have a couple games where he has limited stats for it
Yep.
that they can say, well, you're not really using him. And now that he's also asked for a trade, it's like you're
You lose
acquiescing to
bargaining
his
power.
treatment.
Yep.
Don't have the bargaining power. If they would have gone to Devontae in the offseason and said, look, we want to trade you, and we're going to trade you. We don't want you to go out and talk publicly about not being a Raider.
Yeah.
If you go
Yeah.
out, do us a solid. We paid you. We gave you the contract, but we want to trade you because one of the problems is
Yeah, but
is
it
when
goes the
he's
other
trade.
way with him, where he knew in the offseason that he had Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell.
True.
So, he should have asked for the trade in the offseason too. I don't know. It's not a clean situation, and I just don't like seeing the midseason trade me stuff.
Yeah, but the thing about it is they have the Raiders have no bargaining power whatsoever because they're limited to be able to trade him to a team that has the current salary cap space to
Yeah,
absorb the remainder of his contract.
yeah. Okay, so that's gonna be our question of the week. So we got plenty of time to think about it. I want to know, where do you think he ends up, or where do you want him to end up? And we've got time to play around, look at cap space and whatever. I know that there's usual suspects like
Hmm.
the Jets because of Rodgers and the Saints because of Derek Carr. But like you said, there's salary cap issues, even though we live in a fake cap world. I heard he was connected to Detroit, which I'm not so sure I'm thrilled about, but Detroit apparently has a fuckload of salary cap space, which I wasn't sure how they pulled that off, but we'll talk about it at the end of the show. We'll talk about it at the end of the show.
So the other thing that happened over the weekend is Rashee Rice, and I haven't looked up his injury. I know he was going through
Yeah, the knee thing.
tests. Yeah,
But they're saying he might be back this year now.
yeah. I hadn't gone through it, but when that happened, when the knee stuff, like it instantly came out. Oh well, because what's going on
Likely
in
to
Miami?
miss the season.
Yeah, likely to miss the season, and what's going on in Miami
Oh, with Tyreek Hill
with
being
Tyreek Hill
possibly traded. Yep.
being traded. But here's a problem with it: the Chiefs cannot trade for Tyreek Hill
Okay. Why is that?
because the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill to Miami less than 2 years ago.
Oh, you
If you
can't trade for a
under
guy
under
back?
league rules, if you trade a player, you cannot trade for them from that. You cannot trade for him to
What if
re,
it was
to
a
reacquire him.
three-team trade where it's like, okay, Miami's going to trade him to Cleveland, Cleveland's going to trade him to Kansas City, Kansas City's going to trade some shit to Miami? Is that a
I don't
loophole to
think
that?
so. I don't think.
Because I
Um,
could see why the league would do that, right? Because you could dump, it's like another way of manipulating cap where you can like dump signing bonuses and things like that by trading guys. And then like once it clears your cap that year or whatever, then you trade back for them. And it's like now you're getting them back on a kind of like a cheaper, quote unquote, cheaper deal because you wipe the cap, some of the whatever from the year before or whatever.
so I so in total trade of blah 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 rules of trading.
And I mean, fuck, I don't know that we've seen a three-team trade in forever anyhow, but you know what I mean is that hypothetically you could do, like a round fucking, round robin kind of thing to add a team in if there is that loophole.
So I had read it and now I'm not finding it.
Okay.
Limitations. Whoa, that's a fucked up limitation. I found this weird limitation that was prior to 2020. Under the 2010 CBA, a team could not trade a player with or without a no trade provision to any of the 8 teams from the divisional playoffs in the preceding year unless that prior playoff team lost another player to unrestricted free agency.
What?
Wow. Okay, I'm not finding it.
All right. That's fine.
I will look for it.
Just keep going, dude. Just keep going. Jonathan Taylor out. Anthony Richardson questionable.
I missed the Jonathan Taylor out. I completely missed that.
I mean, Amari Cooper, I guess, is like saying, oh, he's not aware of trade speculation. You would think he'd be one of the guys that would be on the block, right, with how bad Cleveland's been. Fucking Deshaun Watson. Dude, I've heard
Yeah,
a lot of people saying the pressure is on to just bench Deshaun Watson, and if like that, it's like a major Kevin Stefanski problem if they don't. And I could agree to that, man. I could agree to that. I go back Stefanski's time with Cousins in Minnesota. If you get a traditional quarterback that can take snaps under center and operate the play action pass, that is Stefanski's system. It does not work with Watson. You got Chubb coming back, maybe not this week, but probably maybe, could be next week. Man, now is the time to go back to the bread and butter, man. Ooh, the Falcons had an NFL record, tied an NFL record, 5 players with 65 yards receiving or more. I can't believe that, dude. All the shit that, last week, so many people were throwing shade at Kirk Cousins, and like, basically that, Atlanta signing him was a mistake. All this shit. Here we are, a week later, he throws 509 yards, 4 touchdowns, and they barely win the game in overtime. Okay, it's another fucking group of people wanting to throw Kirk Cousins under the bus when very clearly he's on a shitty fucking team. If you got to throw 509 yards and 4 touchdowns to barely win in overtime, you're not the problem, my man. You're not the problem. And obviously I'm biased, but I support me some Kirk Cousins.
okay. So I was wrong about Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs not being able to trade for him.
Okay.
Because I found the rule.
Yes.
Per the NFL rulebook, a team cannot trade for a player that they traded away until until 2 years have passed from the time the team that traded the player away. Unless so like this was with the Eagles, and there was speculation of like the Jets forcing the Eagles to trade back for Reddick.
Okay.
Unless a traded player must have been on the active list of the assignee club or any club beyond the assignee club for at least 4 games, or the player is waived or released, the team that traded him may reacquire him. No, they can't reacquire him. A traded player must have been on the active/inactive list of the assignee club or any club beyond the assignee club for at least 4 games. If said player is waived or released, the team that traded him may reacquire him. And that's 4 games over 2 seasons. A traded player must have been on the active/inactive list of the assignee club, any club beyond the assignee club, or combination of the assignee club and any club beyond the assignee club for less than 4 regular season games or postseason games, and must have been placed on waivers or have his contract terminated. Then the original club may acquire him only via free agency.
Gotcha.
So I had half truths in my head. I thought I read it had with Tyreek Hill, but apparently.
So it's like maybe it's got like it's kind of like a collusion clause. Like,
Mhm.
hey, um, I can't like, help my team by volunteering to be traded to another team and then just like sitting out and never playing for them after we sucked away their first round draft pick or something, you know?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know, dude. You got anything else on the news or you want to just fucking burn through? Because,
I that's about all I had. Like there's like Watson might be um Watson and oh never mind, Packers Watson. I just saw Watson and I was like, wait a minute. I saw Watson doubtful and I was like, what happened to Watson now? Who's he hurt?
I don't, I don't want to make any comments because they'd all be inappropriate. But yes. All right. So let's go to our week 5 power rankings then.
All right. Week 5 power rankings.
And so whenever you are ready, my man, why don't you
My
give me your
top
1 through 5?
my top 3 stayed the same. Kansas City, Detroit,
Good for
Baltimore.
you.
I considered I considered swapping Baltimore and Detroit, but I just thought that Monday night was an equally dominant performance by
Okay.
Detroit as Sunday for Baltimore. Yeah, you could make any argument. Well, the Bills you had higher, whatever. It's my power rankings. That's how I have it. At number 4, I have Minnesota. Minnesota jumped up 3 spots to number 4. Look, they're just playing fucking phenomenal ball up there.
Yeah. And I know
Fucking
they almost gave that game away, right? But they
hmm
didn't. They won it.
yeah.
Fucking 4-0, dude. Sons of bitches.
And then at number 5, I have San Francisco. They moved up 4 spots. It's more San Francisco moving up 4 spots is more like it's partially because of like they looked normal again. I know it's against New England, but also
Yeah.
because
And that's
I
with some
dropped
injuries too, right? So,
yeah, I dropped 2 teams out of the top 5 also, so San Francisco got the love of a couple teams being overrated on me having a couple teams rated higher probably than I should have.
yeah, the benefit of the board, man. The benefit of the board. All right. So, yeah, on my side, I'll just start off by saying that um,
3
I
teams, not 2 teams.
Okay, yeah, I shook the shit out of my board this week. And we kind of talked about it in week 1 that, the NFL now, it's almost like that first month is like the new kind of preseason, right? Because the starters don't really do much in the preseason, and it takes 3, 4 games now for teams to like really get in sync and get going. And I was trying to rely on like the Madden team ratings is a way to help me put them in tiers and at least give me a little bit of a basis to go off of. Now I'm kind of looking at like going into next week, it'll probably be more based on team record and what I've personally seen out of them. But so this week was the big shakeup week, and in my top 5, not crazy, but like as it goes down, it gets more and more intense. And so I kept Kansas City at 1. Then I got Baltimore and Buffalo. I just flipped those 2 teams. Then I got the 49ers and the Lions. They didn't move. So that's my top 5. Back to you at 6, my man.
6, I have the Texans. I probably dropped them a little bit too much a couple last week. Moved them up 2 spots. Yeah, they barely beat the dumpster fire, but also I took some teams down from I had ahead of them. Buffalo dropped 2 spots because it was Baltimore, and I had Baltimore so highly ranked, and I had Baltimore 2 spots ahead of Buffalo as it was. I didn't kill them as much as I normally would have for that debacle this past week,
Yeah, I
35 to
probably wouldn't
10.
have even dropped them, except that I needed to get Baltimore above them.
Yeah, so I dropped Buffalo 2 spots. Dallas moved up 2 spots. They beat the Giants. They got the benefit of Philadelphia and the Steelers both dropping 5 and 4 spots respectively to 9 and 10 because Philadelphia just looks like something's wrong there.
Oh, big time, dude. Big time.
And
Yeah.
I would have killed them more, but then when I get to the next three teams, they all lost. So they stopped at a 5 spot slide, and Pittsburgh the same thing. The next three teams all lost, so they stopped at a 4 spot drop.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So for 6 through 10 on my end, I've got the Texans, Cowboys, Bengals, Buccaneers, and Vikings. So this was my big week, as we've talked about. I'm always like a week behind you in making the big move on the single teams, and so I bumped up Minnesota 8 spots. And it's still probably not enough, right? But I'm still just like I gotta. I don't know. I'm waiting for him to turn into a pumpkin, James, and it's just not happening,
I,
right? So
yeah, I know.
Tampa Bay, I moved them up 3. And, some of that was just that, I thought it was a nice win over Philly. And it's like, okay, they redeemed themselves after having lost the week before. And then Cincinnati, I moved them up 2, where, it's kind of like, they beat Carolina, which, if we went back 2 weeks ago, I'd been like, whatever. But with Andy Dalton, Carolina's looked a lot better. And so I was like, okay, I'm giving kind of both teams some respect here, which is why Cincinnati got a 2 spot bump for me. So back to you at 11, man.
All right. 11, 12, 13, all say the same for me. The Chargers, they lost to my number one team. They kept it close. The Jets, yeah, they lost to a team they lost to Denver, a team I have way down the rankings. But as I told you, it was a really wet game. I think the Jets' problem, and this is me holding too much power, but I started Aaron Rodgers in fantasy this past week, so
Oh,
obviously
you got to defend it.
he fucking
Yes.
sucks. But it was a close game. It was kind of flukish, and I think the weather played a big role in the game. Like I kid you not, I think I told you this. Like it was like 3/4 of the way through the first. No, even it was later than that. It was like 2 or 3 minutes left in the first quarter, and the net yardage gained in the game was -6.
Yeah,
And that was combined between the two fucking teams.
it's pretty messed up, man.
And I think weather had a lot to do with it. Seattle, yeah, they lost by 2 touchdowns against Detroit. I saw a lot of good against Detroit by the Seahawks. Um, and I think any other day of the week, Seattle probably would have won that game, but it was Monday night at Ford Field, which is what the detriment
It was
was
banging,
to
yeah.
Seattle. Um, 14, I have the Bucks. I jumped them 5 spots for beating Philadelphia, and then the Colts at 15, also 5 spots for beating Pittsburgh. I don't know what to do with the fucking Colts. Richardson's
Yeah,
probably out fucking again, which that was the saving grace for me starting Rodgers,
yeah.
is I benched Richardson for Rodgers, who missed 3/4 of the game. And it looks like Flacco Magic's gonna happen again in Indy.
I love it, dude. I love Flacco. All right, so at 11, I've got the Packers, then the Eagles, the Jets, the Steelers, and the Seahawks. I was not as kind as you were with the Jets. I dropped them 4 spots. To me, some of it is just, like I said, this week is a realignment with my board. And I just see dysfunction in that offense. We saw a couple weeks ago what looked to be like vintage Aaron Rodgers, and
Hmm.
then it's like basically like cornerstone with inconsistent play. And I get it, we had the weather here as a factor, but I hear a lot of the fucking commentators talking about the disgusting look on Rodgers' face with all of his wide receivers. And so it's like, you know, some things never change. Rodgers just is going to blame everybody else for sucking it up. Hey man, if something's wrong, address it with him, dude. You never saw
Hmm.
fucking Brady having problems with these fucking no-name receivers, right? Because he'd fucking light them up on the sideline and then it would never happen again, Rodgers just wants to give the camera this disgusting look and act like
Well,
that's going to make
well,
it better. It
that's because
doesn't.
Rogers fucking loves the drama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You want to bitch and moan, but you're not fixing the problem.
Hmm.
Philly, I dropped him 4, kind of like you were saying. It's clear that they've got dysfunction all around. And I mean, they just got beat down by Tampa Bay, so that was not good. Pittsburgh, I dropped him 1, but I didn't want to kill him because my whole thing here, James, is that this is kind of what you get when you let Justin Fields do more than they had let him do in the first couple weeks, right? They were letting him throw more, they were letting him run more, and you were getting production out of him, but you were also getting the mental mistakes out of him. It wasn't as tight of a game, as conservative as a game. And so I just think that that's something that, they just got to like tighten it down again for next week and they'll probably be back on track.
Well, I I disagree with you that with that.
You can disagree.
I don't think Justin Fields had that bad of a game. Like, I'm looking for the mental mistakes. I'm looking for how Justin Fields had a bad game. Like please enlighten me. 22 for 34, 312 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, rushing 55, 10 rushes, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns.
No, I hear what you're saying. The stats look good.
He coughed up the ball. He lost 1 fumble.
Yep.
And recovered 1 fumble. But
the stats look good. I would like to see the sort of the game log here because I'm telling you, man, I watched some of this on NFL Network and they were saying, okay, now he's trying to do too much. And so I get it. It looks good overall. But, and I mean, obviously the fumble would be a problem, but, he didn't throw a pick like you're saying, so that's good. He did get sacked 4 times. So, is he holding on to the ball too long or was Indy just all over him? Like I didn't watch this game. I just saw highlights of people saying, hey, they're letting Fields do too much now.
I think part of the problem and the first one, and this is where I think they lost the game. It was in the second quarter, I think, might have been late first quarter. But anyways, Pittsburgh had 4th and 1 on their own 39.
Oh yeah, that's not
went
a
for
wise
it,
choice.
didn't get it. So where Fields, okay, so Pickens fumbled the ball on the Indianapolis 5-yard line.
Yeah, that's not good. And that changes the game, right? So
Fields fumbled the ball on Pittsburgh. He was sacked. It was a sack fumble for Fields, and that's not good, but it's not insurmountable. By that time,
yeah, and you would expect to have, your quarterback's probably going to have 1 turnover a game, right? So
yeah, and then late in the game, they went, and this is they ended up because.
So you think it's coaching that lost him this one?
It was coaching and it was penalties.
Okay.
From what I remembered in the game, I'm not seeing the penalties. Let me.
Sorry, you have acquitted him well. Let's keep going. Give me 16 through 20,
Right.
man.
So no, Pittsburgh penalties. 6 penalties for 53 yards. That's like 10 yards of penalty. All right. So now I'm on 16 through 20. Cincinnati. I didn't know what to do with Cincinnati. Yeah, they beat Carolina. It was Carolina, but it's Andy Dalton, Carolina. Was it really Cincinnati? Was it really Carolina? Like,
yeah,
I had
perplexing.
no fucking clue. I had no fucking clue what to do. Cincinnati had been playing shitty. Are they finally putting it together? Like, what the fuck's going on? I left them the same.
Yeah, I think their defense is an issue, but offensively they're starting to hum.
Rams dropped them 2 spots for the loss to Chicago. Packers, even though they lost to Minnesota, I had Minnesota in my top 10 previous to this week. Packers also showed a lot of grit, almost came back and won the game. I left them the same. 19th, this is my big riser of the week. up 11 spots, the Atlanta Falcons.
Nice.
I'm starting to come
Is some
around.
of that because of last night, or is this
No,
like you're trying to block out last night? Okay.
I did this before last night's game.
Okay.
But with the Falcons, I'm starting to come around. They're playing respectable football. Cousins is back to form, and then add in last night. Well, like New Orleans, I thought New Orleans was a better team than
Yeah.
I had New Orleans rising on my, and then all of a sudden they lost to Atlanta. But with the game, I thought like they Atlanta. First of all, Atlanta held on to win the game, and I think there was like 2 onside kicks in this game or some shit like that. Um, no, that I'm remembering a different game. But Atlanta came back and won. They were down um, by 1 point in the last with a minute left in the game. Came back and won the game. And this was like the second game this season where they had less than a 5% win probability and won the game
Yeah.
in the game flow. And I think last night was the third time.
Okay.
But I'm just starting to come around on them. I'm pissed off for what they did to Cousins and drafting the quarterback, but
But
hey,
Cousins is helping him win.
yeah. And Tennessee up 2 spots for beating Miami. We'll get to Miami later,
Sure.
but it's also because I dropped a couple other teams down that I had ahead of
Yeah.
them.
I just saw what you did with Miami. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah. All right. So it's 16. I've got the Chargers, then the Commanders, Falcons, Saints, and Bears. I dropped the Chargers 2. I liked what you did where you kept them where they were at because they just barely lost to Kansas City. I dropped them 2 because I'm worried about the injuries with them.
Mhm.
And even in that game, Herbert did not look like he's okay. And so I think that until they get healthier, they just are a cause for concern, in my opinion. It's 17. I moved the Commanders up 4 spots. Fucking Jane Daniels is just, he's like on a mission to embarrass CJ Stroud's like phenomenal rookie year last year.
Mhm.
And then I've got Atlanta. I moved them up 1. The Saints, I dropped them 3. That was kind of just because they were so close to Atlanta at this point on the board. I wanted to get them below Atlanta. And then at 20, this is where I start like really the big swings on my board. Not like some of the big swings on your board, but a lot of them had you know sizable moves. And so Chicago, I moved them up 3. Um, I'm not thrilled with Chicago. I think Caleb Williams is starting to maybe blossom a little bit as a passer in the NFL, but they're really still winning a lot based on the strength of their defense. And you know, the talk all this past week is that they got to get the run game going now, and they got to be more sort of like more complementary and balanced on offense. But yeah, back to you at 21, man.
Uh, I'll finish looking that up in a second because I want to go through. Okay, Washington Commanders up 2 spots. They beat Arizona. I
They
agree
beat
with
the
you.
shit out of Arizona.
Yeah, and I think Washington Commanders are going to make the playoffs. Washington Commanders are going to win the NFC East.
It could happen, dude. I mean, the way that they've been playing, oh, it could happen, man.
The only like their defense concerns me at times,
Yeah,
but the NFC East is wide the fuck open, and
yeah.
I would have moved the Commanders up a lot more. I just couldn't make logical sense with the rest of the board this
That's
week.
fine. Yeah, take your time doing it, man.
Raiders, I moved them up 4 spots to 22. I wasn't going to move them up this high, but I wanted to get them ahead of the Browns, who they just beat. I also wanted, because they were so kind of getting close, I also wanted to drop the Saints a little bit and realign, and it ended up 4 spots, more spots than I really thought that Vegas should jump off that win, but they have issues, and they'll probably fall back into place after like this week or next week. Saints dropped 2 spots. Like I said, I wanted to make sure that they were behind Atlanta, and then how the board fell. These couple teams won, and it's just ended up being a 2-spot drop. Browns, not even my biggest drop of the week. 7 spots to 24. Wanted to get them below the Raiders. Giants down 1 spot. They lost to the Cowboys. They
put up a good fight.
They put up a good fight. They need a quarterback. They need a quarterback.
Yeah, and fucking Neighbors looks legit
But
at
Neighbors,
wide receiver, dude.
Neighbors is questionable this week.
Oh, he's like the only guy doing anything for him. Oh.
If I remember reading correctly, he was questionable this week. I forget. Yeah, no, he's out this week.
Oh no, they're fucked. They are fucked.
He's out. I don't know what injury he had. He got a concussion.
Okay.
Take care of your head. No problem.
Yeah, for sure.
He's out this week. They're fucked.
All right. 21. I've got the Colts, then the Raiders, Broncos, Browns, and Dolphins. I moved the Colts, Raiders, and Broncos each up by 5 spots. This was kind of a chunk move just to make some big adjustments with my board, as I had some chunk moves down. Cleveland being one of them at 24, I moved them down 7. They just look so motherfucking bad with Deshaun Watson. The defense cannot save them. They are that bad. The saving grace maybe could be Nick Chubb coming back, but we got to wait and see when he's actually going to play. They just brought him back from IR, and he might need a week or 2 to get his legs under him. And even then, we talked about it last year. I'm not thrilled with the combination of him and Watson, because Watson takes shit out of like the quarter, out of the shotgun, and Chubb is like, a traditional running back. You need a guy under center, but whatever. And then at 25, I've got the Dolphins. I moved them down 5. Similar kind of situation as Cleveland. They are fucked without a quarterback. The difference is they have one. He's just hurt. So, yeah, back to you at 26, man.
All right. So on the Chubb comment, Chubb is out this week.
Yeah. I mean, I figured he'd be out maybe this week and next, but we'll find out. Hopefully he comes back.
All right, 26, I have the Bears up 2 spots, beating the Rams. I'm slow on the Bears because I haven't seen enough out of Williams. Like, I just haven't
Yeah, he
seen.
looked horrible in the first 3 weeks, right? So
27, I have the Panthers. I dropped them 2 spots. Last week, the board fell right for them to go up 7 spots. Because like every team that I had ahead of them basically lost besides the Broncos. So it's like it was very easy to move them up.
Sure.
And I kind of think I got a little carried away with it. 28, I have the Cardinals dropped only 1 spot, really 2 spots, but I killed the team. I forgot to fix a number, which threw me for a second. Then 29, Patriots. I left them the same. They beat a team that I had at the beginning of the year as my number 2 team in the league, that I kind of docked because of the injuries that were going on, and they look like they're starting to get it together again in San Francisco. So I didn't move the Patriots for losing. Then the Broncos are no longer in my dumpster fire. I moved them up 1 spot off the win on the Jets. This is more a comment on who I have at 31 than the Broncos, but
sure, I got you. At 26, I got the Cardinals, then the Rams, the Jags, the Panthers, and the Titans. Arizona dropped two. They got beat down pretty good. The Rams, I still, I think the Rams, as long as it's McVay and Stafford have potential, they're just dealing with too many injuries, and so they're just going to keep kind of slowly trickling their way down my board. At 28, I dropped Jacksonville by 6 spots. Uh, there's so much talent on that team, and they're just fucking losing in the worst possible ways. Weeks 1 and 2, it was like they were shooting themselves in the foot. Weeks 3 and 4, it's like, I don't know. I almost wonder if they're giving up a little bit, to be honest. And then, Carolina at 29, I did move them up last week. I would have loved to move them up again, but they lost, so I just kind of kept them where they were at. 30 with Tennessee. James, man, I don't know how long Levis is going to be out. I know he's got a shoulder thing going on, but
Oh,
dude,
uh,
that
Levis is
yeah,
not going to play again for Tennessee.
yeah.
I I
Here's where I
think they
was
were
going with
looking
that.
for a reason to bench him.
Very, very clearly, that offense was better with Mason Rudolph under center. Dude, they instantly moved the ball into scoring range. And, I'm not saying he's some fucking all-star, but Levis was losing games single-handedly. Okay, where are you going with it, man? Where are you going with it? Dude,
I'll let
Levis has lost all their games for them. He's had turnovers at the worst fucking times in the worst fucking ways. And Mason Rudolph came off the bench and had them scoring points, man. I'm just
All
saying.
right.
I don't like Mason Rudolph, but
Mason
Levis has been
Rudolph's
killing him.
stats in the game: 9 for 17, 85 yards.
So it's almost 10 yards a completion.
Almost 10 yards of completion.
Yeah.
Almost 10 yards of completion. Total offense that Tennessee had in the game: 244 yards.
Okay.
It's probably actually not accurate because I
Look,
forgot to
dude,
net it.
all I'm saying is
244 yards.
I watched that game. That offense moved better with Mason Rudolph than it did with Levis. And I've watched several of
You
their
watched
games this year.
part of the game because the other part of the game, like the first hour of the game, maybe after the first hour of the game, the Lions game was on.
Yeah, I was going back and forth.
Oh, so you're not a true Lions fan and you don't watch the entire Lions game and
No,
don't change.
no,
Don't
no.
don't
How
don't
dare you? How dare you?
don't change the channel. I sit there. I don't change the channel
Maybe I got
during a
two
Lions
TVs,
game.
James. Maybe I split the screen. Maybe I put one on my laptop, one on the TV. You don't know me.
I
You
still
don't
would
know
have
me.
different broadcasts of the Lions games going on both.
You don't know me.
Anyways,
No, listen. Hey, you know me from
I
all
know.
the years of me bashing Mason Rudolph in Pittsburgh. I do not like him, okay?
Oh, I
I'm
know.
just saying that I think Tennessee's going to be looking for any excuse possible to keep Levis on the bench now.
Hmm. Well, we talked about it in the preseason that Mason Rudolph was playing better than Levis,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
only
you brought
reason
that up. Yeah.
only reason Levis started the season as the starting quarterback was because they felt obliged to do it because they drafted him to be their number one quarterback. Mm-hmm.
All right,
All right.
dumpster fire.
Biggest drop of the week. 17 spots. I dropped the Dolphins to number 31.
Yeah, that's got to be a record. Biggest drop ever.
Got to be a record. The Dolphins went from, without Tua, with Tua, one of the most prolific offenses in the league. Total combined yards they had against Tennessee, who by no means is a defensive juggernaut.
No.
184.
Yeah, and when's the last time they had an offensive touchdown?
Oh, this past week.
12 points?
Missed field goal. Or missed extra point.
Oh, all right. Well, then it was before then they had like 8 straight quarters without a touchdown I saw in that game.
Yeah. Tyler Huntley rushed for a touchdown. Let's see when it was at.
I wonder how far they went. 9 or 10 fucking quarters without a touchdown.
Okay. So he rushed for a touchdown with 3.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Then they went for 2, and it was a failed conversion because at that time they were down by 10. If they would have gone for 2, it would have been down by 8. So because before the touchdown, they were down by 16. So you need 2 2-point conversions.
Okay.
And then Tyler
So,
Huntley turned around in the next drive. I think did
well,
they
so
recover?
the previous week they had 10 points though. So I mean that had to be a touchdown unless it was a defensive or a return one, right? So then it would have been 4. I don't know where I got the 8 quarters without a touchdown thing. Oh, well, maybe it started 2 from the game before, then 4. Okay, either way, they had a rough stretch. Okay, I got you. All right, yeah, and then you got, your second dumpster fire team.
Well, so they didn't score a touchdown against Seattle.
Nope.
I'm
And
s-
then the week before they had 10 points, so I'm thinking one had to be a touchdown, right?
mm, Yeah, they scored a touchdown in the.
Was it on
So
offense?
it was in the first quarter, the
Okay.
game before.
So
So
then,
then
yeah,
they
so
went
they went
three
3 quarters,
quarters, 3 quarters in that
4,
game, 4 quarters, 7. Then they went another 3 quarters,
3,
10, and
10
almost.
quarters without a touchdown.
Yeah, and I think because it was like 3:21 left in the first quarter against Buffalo that they scored the touchdown. Either way, the team's on their fourth quarterback. When Tua comes back,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I'm going to say. I don't think Tua should come back this year because I think when he comes back, the team's going to already be eliminated.
Yeah, so
And
why would you risk anything with him at that point if you're already toast?
yeah, it's depending on when he's able to come
Yeah.
back, whatever, if he even wants to come back.
Yeah, because they
But
were saying originally, I think it was like week 8 was the earliest he could come back. And
yeah.
so you're, a couple weeks away yet.
And then Jacksonville at 32, they stayed at 32. They lost. If it would have been a little bit closer, or I felt more comfortable about what I've seen out of Jacksonville, I may have taken Miami all the way down.
Yeah,
But
they're working their way there. I got you.
yeah,
All right, my dumpster fire, I got the Giants and the Patriots, and I dropped both those teams down by 1 spot. The Giants, hey, they put up a good fight against Dallas, but they lost. Now you're telling me Neighbors is out. That's only going to hurt them more. But with the Patriots, their center, David Andrews, got hurt. Looks like he's going to be out for the year. And this was already, in my opinion, like by far and away the worst offensive line in the league. And
hmm
so I don't know, dude. The Patriots, they've got some work to do, and I keep hearing people say you got to start Drake May, and all I can think of is shut your mouth. You don't want to get your rookie quarterback killed because you do not have an offensive line, guys. So just chill out a little bit. Chill out. All right, those are the power rankings, my man. So
all right,
why don't you lead the way with our game picks?
all right. So going in the game picks, both of us went 10 for 16 last week.
Yes.
Keeps me at 40, 1 point ahead, one correct pick ahead of you
We got a
at
pretty tight
39.
race so far, man.
Both of us were on Tampa Bay last night. I struggled with that game when I did the picks. I almost went with Atlanta, and I didn't when we did the picks. Then during the week, I almost changed to Atlanta, and I didn't. But hindsight's always 20/20. First game this weekend is a 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time special on NFL Network from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Look behind me. That's what it looks like. You'll see that on TV all day, all morning on Sunday.
Hint,
You have
hint. Yeah.
technically a home game for the Vikings. You have the Jets at the Vikings. I really, really, really want to pick against the Vikings. First off, Rodgers at one point this week was questionable with a sore
Yeah,
left
the
knee.
swollen. Yeah, not good. Yeah.
They have, I believe, if I read correctly, Vera Tucker's supposed to be back.
Okay.
The Vikings. So two things I had read this week. One of them bodes well for Detroit, and I wanted to tell you that, and I got to find it again. The other one bodes well for the Vikings.
Okay.
If the Vikings win this game, they will be the 86th team in the Super Bowl era to start 5-0. 71 of those teams have gone on to make the playoffs. The last team that didn't, this bodes bad for the Vikings, was the 2016 Minnesota Vikings, who finished the season 8-8.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm picking the Vikings to start the season 5-0.
Yeah, it sucks to do, right? But I'm with you. I'm taking Minnesota here. They've been on a tear, and power rankings wise, I have them ahead of the Jets. Oh, actually, hang on. Do I have them ahead of the Jets? I thought I had them ahead of the Jets. Let's see. No, I do have them ahead of the Jets, and it's kind of like a home game for them. Not like that matters, but um, looking at the stats, Minnesota is 12th in the league on offense. Man, the Jets are 22nd. This thing kind of blows me away as they're saying the Jets are third in defense, and Minnesota's only 21st. I would have guessed that Minnesota's defense was doing a lot better than that because they're getting a fuckload of pressure on the quarterback, man. The way that they lost Daniil Hunter and they brought in, Dallas Turner and Van Ginkel, they've been doing things, man. And so even though like these stats kind of like lopsidedly look like these guys could be a good matchup, the tape tells me Minnesota is playing way better football. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm sticking with the Vikings, man.
All right. Next game, we're back to normal time, 1 p.m. Eastern. On Sunday, we have the Panthers at the Bears, and I'm going to pick.
You say it like so depressingly.
Oh, man.
Panthers at the Bears.
This is a lot better game now that Dalton's at quarterback for the Panthers, but it's mind-blowing on how low scoring this game would have been with Bryce Young at quarterback. It's also depressing because I said a couple weeks ago that I was not going to pick the Panthers to win a game the rest of the season. So I'm going to pick Chicago
Okay.
to win.
Yeah, you don't sound like very convicted, but that's
Because
fine.
I want to pick Carolina, but I don't want to say
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not digging either of these teams. I do actually feel maybe like I don't know, some hope for Carolina with Andy Dalton. Um, but I look at this matchup, it's in Chicago. The Bears defense is a top 10 unit, if not a top 5 unit. NFL.com shows them as the number 10th ranked team, but I think they're playing better than that. Their offense just hasn't done them any favors. Um, and that's hard, man. I mean, especially we've seen it this year. Defense is controlling the narrative this year. And so I'm going to defer to that. Oh, and by the way, Caesar's Sportsbook, God, all these fucking gambling fucking ads, whatever, has a 65% win probability for the Bears. Ah, fucking gambling's everywhere. But yeah, I'm taking the Bears, man.
All right, then we have the Ravens at the Bengals. And I really went
Bengals,
back and forth.
man, they got like what, that whole 2.5% chance of getting in the playoffs.
Yeah. But I went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on this game. And ultimately I went with the home team because I couldn't pick. I couldn't pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, where I deferred to the home team, and I look at it as I think Baltimore has a little bit of breathing room after that win against Buffalo. Cincinnati at 1-3 has got their back squarely against the wall, and um, Burrow has looked a lot better. Jamar Chase has looked a lot better. To me, it's a matter of whether or not their defense can slow down Derrick Henry and let their offense keep them in that game and maybe win that game. Um, and so, yeah, I'm going to stick with the Bengals. If it was in Baltimore, it would be an easy pick to pick the Ravens, but you know, like you're saying, I'm going home team. I'm going Bengals.
All right. Then we're Buffalo at Houston. I have to think that Buffalo's gonna bounce back from what they did last week at Baltimore and went out there and pissed themselves on the field. I have to think it. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo,
Okay.
but hesitantly going. As you can see, I put it in bold on the spreadsheet because I really don't know where I'm gonna end up at
Yeah.
this week. But right now I'm on Buffalo and I have 2 more days for my mind to change on it.
Yeah, that's fine. And I feel like we got a little Jekyll and Hyde thing going on with Buffalo after last week, right? Before that, I thought, oh my God, they're like rolling teams, and then it's like, okay, well maybe Baltimore's just that good, but in this matchup, it's another one where I'm basically deferring to the home team. Um, Power rankings wise, I have them pretty close. I actually have Buffalo ahead of Houston, but team rating wise, I have Houston just barely getting the edge. When I look at the NFL.com stats, you've got Houston has the edge right now. Of course, this is all against mixed opponents and whatever else, but they're 10th on offense, they're 5th on defense. Buffalo's 20th on offense and 14th on defense. Um, I've just been super hopeful for Houston to keep things rolling this year. It's been a little bit of a rocky road, but I think they can get this one.
All right. Then we have the Colts at the Jaguars. Look, we just talked about how the Jaguars look like they've given up. The Jaguars, I'm surprised that Peterson's still their head coach.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Um, I'm on the Colts hesitantly. I'd be more convicted if I would have saw more out of Flacco because I think Flacco's starting this game. But I'm on the Colts.
Yeah, and I think with Jonathan Taylor out, that gives me a little bit of pause. Man, I think my brain just keeps looking at how good the Jacksonville roster is, and I just want to keep picking them. And then it's also at home for them. And so I'm taking Jacksonville. They did beat the Colts in their last matchup, whatever that's worth. Um, man,
Yeah, and they were playing like a real team last year too.
yeah,
So
25th on offense, 28th on defense. Oh, that's so bad for Jacksonville. The Colts are 17th on offense and 30th on defense. I never would have guessed Indy's defense would have fallen apart as fast as they did this year. But uh, either way, you know, I'm taking Jacksonville. I gotta believe they're gonna get a win, dude. If they go 0-5 to start the year, I don't know. I'm taking Jacksonville.
all right. Sorry, I thought you were going to be slightly longer. I had time to
No, you
pour.
take your time. This is important, my friend. You need to pour that drink and enjoy yourself.
Then we have the Dolphins, who are starting Tyler Huntley again this week at the Patriots. I don't really know what to think of this game. Dolphins look shitty. Patriots look shitty. Is this going to be a 2-0 game? Possibly. I'm going to pick the Patriots because I think the Patriots are just a sliver better.
Yeah, it's a hard one to pick, man. I would have thought Huntley would have been better with that offense when we saw, going back 2 years ago, that like the couple starts he had in Baltimore when Lamar Jackson went down. And man, I didn't see anything to lead me to believe that's going to happen for
Yeah.
him.
To be fair with Huntley, like this was his second week on the team,
Yeah, and
and
so maybe he needs time.
maybe he needs time, but also like I would think he would have caught up by now. Like I expected the shitty performance that he had this week, the first week he was on the team, not the second week.
Okay. Yeah, and so I'm taking the Patriots too. It's tough. Patriots are last on offense, 22nd on defense. The one thing that they got going for them is they're 13th in rushing. Oh, except that Stevenson is a fumble machine this year. But the Dolphins, man, 26 on offense.
I thought Stevenson was hurt.
No, they're saying, basically maybe he's got some, nagging injury or whatever, but Mayo's pissed because he keeps coughing up the ball. Defense, the Dolphins are somehow sixth in the league in defense, although I know that they just lost Jalen Phillips for the year. That defensive stat would give me some hope for Miami, but once again, this is a home game for the Patriots. I'm going with the home team in a matchup that I just don't like. So,
Yeah, but defensive stats, they started the season with Jacksonville.
uh,
Then they gave up 31 to the Bills, 24 to the Seahawks, and then 31 to the fucking Titans.
okay. I'm just giving you the NFL.com stats, man.
I'm just saying that you got to look behind the
I would
stats.
love to go to my lineups information, but they are still apparently way the fuck far behind on updating rosters, James. So I can't do that.
All right. We have the shitty Browns at the amazing Commanders.
Shitty Browns. Elfie the Brown.
No, it's at Washington. So,
Oh, yes.
speaking
Yes.
of the Commanders,
Oh, my
the
back.
family of Chief, whatever his name was, I can't remember his name, who was the likeness the Commanders used when they were the Redskins.
Sure.
I had heard they had petitioned or sued the Redskins to bring the logo back.
You don't
I'm sorry,
want it.
the
You want it.
Commanders
You
to
don't.
bring the logo back.
Yeah.
But
We live
anyways,
in a strange world, James.
we do. I'm on the Commanders. The Commanders are playing fucking amazing ball. The Browns have possibly Deshaun Watson at quarterback if he's not injured already
Yeah, I
or
mean,
suspended.
how could you take the Browns? They've been so sloppy, so just underwhelming. I got to go with the Commanders. They're actually a very exciting team to watch. Like, I mean, that's the thing. It's not just that they're winning games. It's with Jaden Daniels on offense, they are exciting to watch.
Hmm.
And dude, we talked about it last week. The guy is just such a genuinely good personality, man. He's happy, he's upbeat, he's always fucking smiling. I love it, dude. I hope they go far, dude. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him in Washington.
Hmm. All right. Raiders at the Broncos.
Minus Devontae Adams.
Minus Devontae Adams. Minus nine starters.
Whoa.
I think it was 9. At least that was the last count I had. 7.
Okay.
7 was the last count I had. With Crosby being questionable.
Oh yeah.
So Crosby's questionable. Adams is out. Zamir White is out. Starting right tackle, Thayer Munford Jr. is out. Linebacker Luke Masterson's out. Tight end Michael Mayer's out. Safety Trey Taylor's out. Cornerback DeCamarion Richardson is out. Yeah. And Divine Diablo is questionable. Starting right guard. Dylan Parham's questionable.
So now I know why they're okay shopping Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
They're up a creek without a paddle.
exactly. And they lose to the Broncos this week.
Yeah, I will say this. I'm going Denver, even though offensively Denver has some serious issues. Um, Denver has one of the best defenses in the league this year, which I did not expect.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they're second per NFL.com. Um, I mean, they're getting sacks, they're getting turnovers. They're just fucking playing great defense, man, which is very hard to do when your offense does you no favors. And so I think it's that much more impressive. And so I'm digging Denver for this one, and that is my pick, homie.
All right. We have the Cardinals, who have been unimpressive the last 2 weeks, but the week before fucking pushed the shit in on the Rams.
Yeah, they got like one fucking sweet week, and then what? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I, I I'm gonna go with
The
the
Cardinals.
49ers.
Look, the 49ers are third on offense, ninth on defense. I mean, they're still playing good football, like overall good football. They've just lost some games. It's really weird, man. And so, um, in this matchup, I got to take the 49ers. Arizona has just been, they had like one boom of a game. And other than that, they've been kind of struggling their way through.
Exactly. All right. Then we have the Packers at the Rams. All right. So Matthew Stafford has played 21 games in the regular season against the Packers. How many of those games do you think he's won?
7.
Exactly.
Oh, I did. That was just a guess.
7. In the regular season, he's 7-14 against the Packers. In the regular season, that's not counting the playoff loss that he had 2 years ago.
Okay.
I think that trend continues. He's 0-1 as a Ram. The only time he played them was in 21, so 3 years ago. He it's just like you could chalk it up. Oh well, yeah, Stafford was on some pretty shitty Lions teams, and he played them two games a year, and blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah
but
blah.
everybody and their mom is hurt this year, and so
Exactly,
they're struggling.
and
But fucking
also
29th on defense, 19th on offense. I mean,
also
it's not.
yeah, and every game that Stafford's played, this will be the first game without Aaron Rodgers. Well, not the first game without Aaron Rodgers there, or playing, but the first game without Aaron Rodgers on the team. I'm
Sure.
not going to go back and figure out which
Yeah,
season.
when was he hurt and whatever else? Yeah.
Hurt. I played the full game. You know, trend continues. Packers win the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for the Lions in the NFC North, but yeah, I take the Packers here. They're fourth on offense, 18th on defense. I mean, they're just a significantly better and healthier team than the Rams. I mean, it's that simple.
All right. Then we have the Giants at the Seahawks. Until I read Neighbors was out, I was tempted to pick the Giants
Okay.
in this game. I'm just kidding. There's no way the Giants with Neighbors, without Neighbors, that they even had a
I
shot
was like,
against
damn,
the
dude, you
Seahawks.
fucking love them that much, huh?
No, fuck that. Fuck that. The Giants are fucking pathetic. Even with Neighbors, they're still a fucking pathetic team. They don't have a quarterback. They need to fix that situation. Seahawks win this game. Without Neighbors, it's probably a wider margin than it is with Neighbors, but it's still a win for the Seahawks.
Yeah, you had me going. Man, this stat blows my mind a little bit is that apparently Seattle is number 2 in passing in the NFL right now. They're 7th on offense, 8th on defense. They lost a tough one against Detroit, but overall, they have been the best story in the NFL other than the Minnesota Vikings, right? And so I've got to keep sticking by that and going with Seattle here, man.
The only saving grace for the Giants could be is, I believe, if I remember correctly, the last time that, it was like 2 years ago, the last time that the Giants went to Seattle, and it was with Daniel Jones. The Giants did win that game.
Okay.
I think it was 2 years ago. New York Giants versus Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, 20. Yes, the last time they went to Seattle was 2022. I was remembering the 2020 game. 2022, the Giants lost. In 2020, the Giants won
Okay.
at Seattle. So I forgot about the 22 game. Anyways, I digress. We have the Cowboys at the Steelers. I really, really, really. Actually, I'm changing my pick in this game. You know, I think the Cowboys are kind of in disarray. What's his face? I wanted to say Holmgren, but it's not Holmgren. It's what the fuck's the coach of
Talking about
Dallas?
Tomlin, man?
No, Dallas's coach.
McCarthy?
Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
McCarthy.
he's like 0-4 against Tomlin or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's not a good record against Tomlin.
The stats, yeah, the stats definitely support Pittsburgh getting this game, and so I got no beef with you flipping on that, man. And I think Brandon Cooks is out, Micah Parsons is out, DeMarcus Lawrence is out. I don't mean to be a copycat,
No, it's fine.
and I don't do this often, but I'm going to flip it too. Normally, when you would flip like that in the middle, I'd be like, "Well, I'm sticking just because we wanted to have it." But my brain is saying no. I mean, come on. All signs are pointing to
Mhm.
Pittsburgh in this game, and it's in Pittsburgh. So
Yeah, it's in Pittsburgh, and so like what I had sent you when I had sent it to you, like I was like, uh, I was pretty sure about Dallas,
yeah,
Pittsburgh, whatever, like, but then like I started really looking at it. Cowboys, Cowboys are averaging our lowest yards per game rushing at 75.3.
yeah.
Um, Steelers running back Najee Harris again. It's going to struggle, but that was against the Giants. It was like 1.2 yards per carry that fucking the Cowboys allowed against the Giants. That's an interesting stat.
What's that, James?
The Cowboys are 4-0 against. So this is going to tell me it's a close game. 4-0 against the spread on extra rest since the start of last season. But so Brandon Cooks being out is it's a little scary. And I love how Twitter doctors like to jump in when somebody
Twitter
says,
doctors.
"Oh, I say Twitter doctors because." So I found out about what was going on with Cooks on Twitter, how he had an injection in his
Oh
knee
yeah, yeah.
in in New York, which led to an infection. And then so a Twitter doctor chimes in on, well, this is what probably happened, and starts saying that, well, they didn't properly clean the area before the injection. It's like, no shit. And then they got back. The team doctor decided to go in and do a scope to clean out the infection. Well, that's what the fucking tweet said.
Yeah.
So why are you like? Is it because the person that tweeted it is female that you feel the need to fucking educate her on?
Well, you just want to
I,
get your, you know,
yeah,
2 seconds of fame, and you're going to do it on the internet, right? So,
right.
I
And it's
mean,
just
we've
like,
been
what?
we've been trying to get it for 3 years, James. We still don't have it. 4 years, however long it's been. Holy shit, we're at 200 episodes.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I digress.
Yeah,
Both on Pittsburgh. Then we have the Saints at the Chiefs. Before it's
I
like
could see this one being really close, dude.
yeah, and I really wanted to pick New Orleans, but I just struggle statistically to pick New Orleans.
The Chiefs always seem to find a way. The Saints, they have impressed me. I'm just not. I'm not there. I've got the Chiefs number one on my board, man. I can't I can't have them getting upset. They're at home, right? So
Yeah.
you know,
So here's the thing about it, and Taysom Hill hasn't prac didn't practice yesterday. He's dealing with rib and chest injuries. Um, he's missed total of 7 quarters of play this season. With him on the field against the Falcons, the Saints averaged 6.1 yards per rush. With him off the field, 2.6 yards per rush.
yeah, he's the X factor.
Um, Mahomes isn't having a Mahomesian season. He's 17th in the league in QBR. which is a fake number anyways. And while I think like the first, like what we saw the first 2 weeks versus the last 2 weeks of the Saints is the real Saints team, I just think it's too hard of a row to hoe at Kansas City.
Yeah, I can't call the upset with it being in Kansas City.
Exactly. If it was in New Orleans, it might be a different story. All right. So next Thursday, we haven't done it just early. We still have to talk. We might be Wednesday, might be Thursday. I asked the wife which was better, and she said I'll check my calendar, and hasn't.
Keep me posted
to
because
respond. So I will let you know.
I would prefer Wednesday if we could do Wednesday, but if it has to be Thursday, I can make it work.
I would too, but we'll see.
Just keep me posted because I'll have to shuffle some things if it's Thursday now, but it's not the end of the world, my man.
All right, then we'll just do Wednesday, and I'll tell the wife you took too fucking long, and
Yeah.
I decided.
Oh, Ryan had to make an executive decision. It's Wednesday.
Yeah. So we will talk about the Thursday night game on Wednesday.
Yay! Yeah, and if something changes, we'll just email our picks or whatever, and we'll figure it out. So.
Yeah, way too early. I'd be on the 49ers in that game. But anyways, right. I digress. Have anything else for the picks? Or are you ready to go on to question of the week?
I'm good for the picks, man. So question of the week. I want to come back to the Devontae Adams thing. So he's requested a trade. I'm trying to find the article. NFL.com had like 8 teams that should trade for him. I can't find it now, but I guess want to know, the question can be either where you think he will end up or where you want him to end up. And so I know those are 2 totally different things, right? And so you could give me both, but he's obviously wanting to go to a team with a quarterback, but it's got to be a team that has cap space that could get him, right? And so, when I look at these teams and I think a playoff team, a team with a quarterback, Buffalo obviously has a need at wide receiver. I think they've been doing great with Khalil Shakir and, you sent me the article, thanks. And Keon Coleman. The thing is for them, cap space is obviously an issue. They've been shedding players, they've been doing things. So I don't know about them. The Jets, it's a similar situation. He's got the connection with Rodgers, but cap wise, I don't think that they're like in the running there. So I don't know, man. This is just an open kind of spitball. Would you? In fact, I guess let's pull up Spotrac or something because
that's what I was doing. So first, they have to have 13.5 million salary cap space if he's traded before this week. If it's after this week, it'd be 12.6.
All right. Are you going to Spotrac or over the cap?
I went to over the cap.
Okay.
Went to over the cap. So that can't be fucking right.
This seems strange. 56 million for the 49ers?
That can't be fucking right.
I did see something about the Lions being that high. And so, I don't know, that's messed up. But, the 49ers got to fucking pay Purdy soon, right? But still, that would seem way high. If you went off of this, you're looking for a team with a quarterback that needs a wide receiver. Man.
Yeah.
The fucking Cowboys.
Spotrac has the same cap space, so.
That would be interesting if they went if he went to the Cowboys with Dak, and him and CeeDee Lamb were a 1-2 combo. I don't think it would ever happen. I'm just looking at the highest cap space with a quarterback.
So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to start with the teams that could theoretically fit him under the cap. You have the 49ers, the Browns, the Patriots, the Lions, well, never mind. The
Yeah,
Commanders,
the Raiders aren't. Yeah.
the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Jets, the Jaguars, the Packers, and the Titans.
The Cardinals would be interesting, but
Where he would want to go. First of
yeah.
all, what I'm going to point out on here is the team you don't see on there is the New Orleans Saints because they have less than $3 million of cap space available.
Yeah, somehow they're positive. I mean, everybody's got to be positive,
How
but
the
they were
fuck
like
do the
70
Panthers
million
have
in the hole.
less than $1 million in cap space available? Like seriously, like how is that fucking possible?
They just suck, dude. They fucking suck. They're so
Um,
bad.
they are so fucking terrible, and they have no cap space to fix it.
Yeah, they're fine.
All right. So then I got to go to where I think he could land and eliminate teams. The Browns, they're out because of the fact that they have like 4 receivers in Cleveland anyways.
Yeah, and they don't have a quarterback. Yeah.
The 49ers are out because they have Ayuk,
2 wide
Sanders.
receivers, a tight end, and a phenomenal
Yeah.
running back receiver. Yep.
The Patriots, I'm not going to eliminate.
They don't have a quarterback.
I'm not going to eliminate them.
They don't have a
They don't-
quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback, but they don't have a receiver either.
Yeah, but I don't think Devontae Adams would go there.
He doesn't have a no trade clause.
All right. Well, I think they're trying to accommodate him, but I hear you.
The Commanders. Oh my God.
Him and Terry McLaurin,
Him and McLaurin.
that'd be fucking sweet. But is he going to be that comfortable with a rookie quarterback?
The Cowboys. I'd eliminate the Cowboys simply because of the fact that I think like they have. I don't think they want to piss off CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, he's their guy. Of course, they waited till the last possible minute basically to get him extended, but it'd be
The
weird
Cardinals-
having him and Devontae Adams.
The Cardinals.
It's the same thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. Like they're making it a point that
Yeah.
he's the man.
The
I mean, the Jets hypothetically could fit him.
hypothetically, the Jaguars, I don't think he would want to go to Jacksonville the way they've been playing because I think he wants to go to a team that could be a contender. The Packers, I'll put a pin in that. The Titans, no.
I don't think the Packers would want him back, man.
I just
They've
said I'm
been
gonna put
making
a
it
pin in
work
that.
with all their wide receivers.
I said I'm going to put a pin in that.
All right, all right.
So you have a couple contenders. Patriots, I would eliminate them because they're not a contender. Not because they don't have a quarterback, but because they're not a contender.
Sure.
The Lions, a contender, have a quarterback. I don't want the Lions to trade for him.
No, and I don't think the Lions would. I think the Lions like their guys, and it's not their style to do that kind of a flashy move like that.
I'm going to cut this short. I think he's going to go to the Commanders. The Commanders or the Jets.
Yeah,
I would
I think
love
it's
to
the
see-
Jets or bust, but yeah.
I think legitimately it's probably the Jets, but I would love to see him go to the Commanders and see what Jaden Daniels can do
Yeah.
with 2 fucking receivers. Like, oh my God,
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
if he went to the Commanders, I would say it now, the Commanders are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
And that's not the whiskey talking.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if that'll happen, but yeah, I think it's the Jets or bust, but I could see the Commanders being a dark horse option.
Yeah,
All right. So yeah, you're going to talk to the wifey about
we'll
next
just do
Wednesday,
fucking
and
we'll just do Wednesday.
yeah, and that's cool. And yeah, other than that, it's same thing next week, just different day and time. So, or different day, same time.
It depends on what day our fans watch it. Because do they watch it when it
Wait.
first
Yeah,
comes
I
out?
mean for you and I.
I
Yeah, I guess if
I
whenever it comes out, it's whenever I can get it out. But yeah, and then whenever they watch it, yeah, yeah, we're not live. We're not live. Ah. All right. So yeah, James, closing questions, thoughts, concerns, blah blah blah, anything like that.
a concern, and I'm going to go back to Devonte Adams
Let's
because
do it.
I don't know how they could do it. If Devonte Adams went to the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes,
All right, where were they at with cap space? Let's go back to that.
I just saw that in this article and I was like, oh my God, no.
Because we live in the fake cap world where if they're somewhat close, they could make some moves, right? So they're only at
They're
4.8 million. It's pretty
yeah.
low. It'd be kind of hard to pull off, I think.
I don't think it would be hard to pull off, and this is what and you have to hear me out on this because I think I can make it work.
Just restructure some guys.
Restructure one player, Mahomes. Would Mahomes do it? Yes.
Yeah, fuck yeah, he would if he could get Devontae Adams for a year. I would sue
Especially,
the NFL.
especially,
It wouldn't do
especially,
anything. I would just sue them and be like, it's not fair. It's not fair.
especially if Rasheed Rice is out for a prolonged amount of time.
Yeah. I know, but they should be getting Hollywood Brown back at some point too, right? So that would be
Hollywood
some
Brown, I
relief.
thought was out for the season.
Oh, are you kidding me? Because it originally started as he was going to maybe miss week one. Then it was like, well, he'll miss week one, but he should be back week two. And now it's going on. And I just assumed it was like any week he was like ready to come back.
September 14th, expected to. Geez, Hollywood Brown expected to miss entire season. On
Oh my
September 14th,
gosh.
they put him on injured reserve for a shoulder injury that requires surgery.
Okay. All right.
But
Well,
he's not. He could return for the postseason, but he's not expected back any sooner than mid-January.
wow. All right. Well, trade for Devontae Adams.
Those motherfuckers would do it too.
We'll find out. We'll find out. It might be the Philadelphia Eagles because they always find a way to do this shit.
But the Eagles already have two receivers. They can't spread the ball out much more.
Yeah, but
But
one's
they
been
are
hurt.
so close. They are so close in cap space too, and so is Pittsburgh.
I guarantee you, Howie Roseman's like thinking, maybe I should. Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't know. Would he go to Pittsburgh with Justin Fields? It's not a very attractive quarterback spot.
all right. Here, ultimately, here's what's going to happen. The Saints are going to find 11.6 mil, 10.6
Yeah.
million in cap space, and be like, all right, you fucked us on. You already fucked us on not trade. On you helped us out by Derek Carr
Yeah, we'll give you
declining
a
you
pick
trade.
now. We'll
We'll
give you a
give you a
pick.
pick now for Adams. Oh, you don't want a pick? Okay, we'll give you two picks for Adams. And
Yeah,
who's their
a
highest
third and
pick?
a fourth.
Or how? We'll give you.
It's not going to be a first. It'll be like a second in a conditional future second or something.
Yeah.
Because you're only getting him
Oh
for
my
three
gosh.
quarters of the season, man.
Oh my gosh. I just looked at the current dead cap that the Saints have.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. 43 million. Andrews Pettis at 14, Michael Thomas at 11, Marcus May, Jameis Winston at like 3.5, James Hurst.
Yeah.
Like, how is this possible?
They've just not been very good at managing the cap in recent years.
No, they've been very good at managing the cap in recent years by fucking all this dead money they
Yeah.
have.
But
Just
50 million
everywhere.
void years.
Mm.
That's all right. They'll get out of it one day.
So Jameis Winston's counting against the cap for 2 teams this year.
That's the best. That's the best.
It's okay. It's not a Bobby Bonilla situation. So,
No. No, no,
or
no.
or 10 years from now, a Shohei Ohtani situation where they'll be paying, the Dodgers will pay Shohei Ohtani starting in like 2034 or 2035, $68 million a year for 10 years.
Yeah. Deferred comp.
Yeah. But anyways, I digress. All I know, Tigers somehow made the playoffs
Hell
and
yeah.
somehow won the wild card in the wild card round, beating Houston 2 games in a row, and now play against the Cleveland Guardians in
Okay.
the divisional series, which almost every divisional round game is an interdivisional matchup besides one. The Royals Royals and the Yankees is the only non-divisional matchup in the divisional round of the playoffs
Okay.
for baseball.
Yes, for our baseball fans that are watching
Yes.
our football show. Yes.
Well, yeah, like we gotta expand because nobody else is fucking watching.
Damn it, man. Maybe you should start putting a baseball field in the back. It'd be sweet. You do like a fucking like a hockey arena. Like, hey, where's James at this week? Oh,
Expand to the other sports because football fans aren't watching us.
yes, yes. Pickleball? Can you do a pickleball thing in the
I
background?
fucking hate
I hear
pickleball.
that's like all the rage these days.
I fucking
So,
hate pickleball. I fucking hate the sound of pickleball. Don't tempt me to fucking reach through the fucking
I'm
screen
gonna
and
tempt
smack
you.
the shit out of you.
I'm gonna tempt you now because we both know physically you can't do that. So, and you're very far away. So,
There's a player on the Saints named Bub Means.
Bob means.
Bub
Bob
Means.
means.
And there's also a player with the last name of Hayball.
Hayball. Means Hayball. Get on the field.
Oh, I digress. Anyways, anything else?
No, that's all I got, man. That's all I got.
All right. So, for those watching, play Name That Stadium.
Play it.
Respond to question of the week.
Yeah.
Fucking interact with us however the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
somebody come in
Yeah.
and say something.
Send us some
We'll
hate
call you
mail.
out.
I don't care. You know, whatever.
Other than that, I hope you have a good one.
Yeah, it was a good time, bud. I'll talk to you as soon as I hit the the stop button. But for
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
else, have a good night. We hope you like the show. We'll catch you later.
Gridiron Grinder. Hut, hut, hike.